Check, check, check. Welcome back to the Young OG Perspective, where we give you a new perspective.
A fresh perspective.
A Young OG Perspective, baby.
Yeah.
You already know what it is. It's the fresh kid with the beard with no fear. And today we came to push positivity. Change the narrative.
Facts.
But most importantly, move the culture.
Ooh.
My name's Alonzo Ashley Oliver. If you're the government looking for me, but I promise you're going to find me right here. Kim, smelling good, dressed good, ready to have a great evening and a great conversation. And this gentleman to my right, like I said, if I'm the CEO, he is the CFO.
Money.
Yeah, that's right. He's in that 1%. He goes by the name of Lonzo, a.k.a.
Taylor.
a.k.a.
Londo Esco.
Bars.
a.k.a.
Watch your back, cuz.
We ain't watching for you. We looking to the left, to the right, but never behind us because you was never in sight. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? And this gentleman to my left, he goes by the name of the M, the I, the K, the E.
Mama, I kill everything. Mr. Mike Styles. How we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, thank you guys for coming out first and foremost. We want a big shout out to Kim for hosting us this evening. So clap it up for Kim one time. We are no stranger to participating in the Black Chamber events, so this always feels like home. Before we get this going, I just want to say thank you once again for everyone coming out and supporting this incredible event. I hope you had an incredible holiday season with your family and your friends, whoever you spent it with. And I hope that you set your intentions for this year, 2025, and you're off to a great start, because if I'm not mistaken, we're on day 3 of 365, so time is ticking already, so I hope your intentions are set, and we're happy to be here to kick it off. What you got, fellas?
I'm just blessed to be here amongst all this melanin and the people that are allies, that are supporting, you know, the community and the vision of the Black Chamber. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, very, very excited to start this out. We've done a lot of stuff with the Black Chambers, as Mike has said. It's been a long time coming, but this is a very exciting event for us to help out with the First Fridays every month, and happy to be here to support.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Let's jump right in. How you doing, Dr. Shorter?
I'm doing amazing. How about you?
Good.
How was your New Year?
The same as every day.
Okay.
Filled with gratitude. It was great.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right in. The Black Chamber is known for doing business, serving businesses. What is a high-level recap you can give us for 2024 going into 2025?
So 2024 was an amazing year. The entire year, I would say, was a highlight. As I look around the room, there is evidence of the work of the chamber. And your work is nothing if there is no evidence, right? Talk is one thing, but tangible is something different. And so that is always our intention. I say we use that word a lot. I mean, 2024, how many times did we hear the word intention and intentionality? However, with no investment, it means nothing. And so the chamber really shift gears to ensure that we were investing in our members, investing in their success, but also investing in their visions.
Absolutely, love that. Can you please describe the overall economic ecosystem in Utah, particularly how it impacts the Black community and Black-owned businesses?
So I'll start with the negative and get that out of the way. I have witnesses who are members here of the Utah Black Chamber who can attest to the challenges that we face as it relates to access to affordable capital. We need capital to grow business. You know, the wisest of business people will tell you, you know, you don't use your own resources, but you have to use your own energy, your own intellect. And far too often, there's a lot of energy that is poured into just searching for and identifying not just capital, but the right capital, right? Because if you don't have the right capital, it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you far more than you could ever afford. And so that is part of the work that we absolutely do and focus on. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is that 2023, 0% of the chamber members that we worked with were approved for SBA loans. 0%.
Wow.
2024, 100% were approved for SBA loans that we worked with.
Give it up.
That's tangible. That's real. That doesn't mean that it wasn't challenging. That doesn't mean that it didn't come with difficulties. But there is nothing like an entrepreneur that is focused and determined to be successful. Those that know me and have walked this path with me in the chamber know that sometimes those conversations are tough. Mm-hmm. They are hard. You don't hear what you want to hear, but we are focused on your success. And so that's what we don't try to be everything for everyone, but we do our due diligence to ensure that we're serving in a way that's beneficial. And so when you encapsulate that into the economic ecosystem, it is our goal to ensure that all of our businesses are vital to that economic ecosystem, to ensure that they're contributing to that system and not costing that system something. So there are some things that we try to avoid. We try to avoid laying off employees, right? We try to avoid high rents. So those are the areas that we work in to ensure that there's sustainability. And it does come at a cost, and it is hard. And all of it is not programmatic, if you will. There's not a program for everything that suits everyone. And so when you look at the long hours, the long days, the high cost of supplies, it can be very taxing on our businesses. But here in Utah, our businesses not just survive, they thrive. And we are constantly seeking opportunities to at least mitigate some of those hardships that they face. So when you look at the impact comparatively to other parts of the country and the sustainability of our small businesses, we're kicking butt. Yeah.
I was just going to follow up. How are you measuring the success of all these businesses?
So what we look at is not just doors open, lights on, but we look at the sustainability, right? And so one of the words that became very prevalent was pivot. If you don't plan to pivot, you will fail. You will absolutely fail. So you can plan in the beginning. And so many, there are those who say, well, you should not plan to pivot because then you don't really have confidence in yourself. Well, it's not, you're not your customer. You are not your customer. And your market and your customer and your client really dictates how you are going to perform. Because we know that they can decide tomorrow, or there could be an amazing post about you, your business, and your bottom line may look different. And you may have to pivot. It doesn't mean you have to become someone else. It doesn't mean that you compromise your integrity. You apply the proper business principles to ensure you're successful, and you make that pivot.
I have a brief follow-up as well with the piggyback off that. So knowing when to pivot and being prepared to pivot, in 2023, 0% of those SBA loans were approved. And 2024, you were able to get to 100%. How are you able to pivot in that moment? What did you change, or what approach did you take to where it went from 0 to 100 so quickly?
The first thing that we had to do was understand what the banking system wanted. In many of those cases, I'll be honest, we had to advocate for our members. It wasn't that anything was wrong with their credit. It wasn't that anything was wrong with their business plan. Unfortunately, literally, I had to make a call in many of those cases. Can you reevaluate this? Can you look at this again? Can you help me understand the no? Most often, that's what's missing. We get a no and we go away, or we go to the next place and the next place and the next place, right? And so that is one of the strongest attributes, I believe, of the Utah Black Chamber. We will show up on your behalf. We will ask the tough questions, but we will also do the work to invest in you to help you understand how you actually do that. We actually had a member who applied for an SBA loan, got a provisional approval at a certain amount, and the final approval was half of what that provisional approval was. And they began to do business based on that provisional approval. And so it was not looking good. And so what we did was we prepared them to go back to the lender. Here are the questions that you ask. And they asked those questions, and they got the approval that they got what was the provisional approval. That's what finally got approved.
I love that. I mean, Kendrick said it best. Sometimes you got to pop out. You know what I mean?
It's too early.
It's true.
Can you highlight some of those businesses that are moving the needle within the chamber? I mean, some of them might be here tonight.
Oh, some of them are here. Miss Rita is here. Miss Rita McGaldy with Sheer Ambrosia. She was our first Black Business of the Year for the Utah Black Chamber. She's tired right now, but she had a Merry Christmas. She had a very Merry Christmas. But looking at her model, we've talked about it, we're going to go back to, there's a pivot that needs to happen, right? Because she has the traction, she's generating the revenue, the model is working, but the model is working her. And so now that she is at this growth trajectory, we have to evaluate to see how we get her a bit more out of operations, because we made progress because she has employees. She went from her kitchen to a bakery to employee to knocking it out of the, we're not gonna have you tell us how much money you made over Christmas. But, and then Michael Ulabari, who's walking in, so just, well, I guess it was 2024, we recommended him to apply for a grant and a one-on-one counseling with Damon Johns. Well, he just on yesterday, got an email that said, hey, you've made it to the next level. You've made it to the next level. And we have Heaven's Best Butter in the house. Mr. Lavaro, if you haven't had that butter, get you some butter, baby. Doing amazing things. And then new to the chamber, if you all weren't with us in November, you missed a treat. The Boss Brothers. The Boss Brothers knocked it out of the park. And so since you saw them and dined with them for Thanksgiving, they now have their food truck here on the ground in Salt Lake City.
There we go. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Oh, and I think within a week, we had appointments for you all to look at physical space after the November event. So we're making progress, but that is how, that is how we work. That is how we have to do work. We have a new member of the chamber. I'm not going to look at him. He DJing. He's from Ogden. Yes. So, we are, this is what we do. The proof is in our members. That is, It's not about the talk, it is about the tangible. I want to do a show of hands. So I have a few board members here. If I can have you stand, please, from the Utah Black Chamber. So Miss Nikki Walker, who was instrumental in what you're seeing happen. Mr. Jason Woodland just joined the board in October, and I think Jason has brought on maybe about 5 or 6 new members already has always been an advocate and supporter and an ally for the economics. He loves us, but he's a businessman. And so that is what it is really about, and that's what, if we get out of the mindset that we are servants, we have failed. Because we have to serve our members. We have to listen to them, we have to learn. There are things that we need to know, but what we know will not matter if we are not listening and learning from them to understand what they believe and know that they need. Critically important, hands down.
So you mentioned pivoting. Operations. It sounds like there's a lot of foundational work that's being done, and one belief that I have, I've worked in the startup world for quite some time. If you have a strong foundation, pivots are easy. They can be a lot more feasible and manageable. So with your new members, what are you guys teaching them and helping them learn when it comes to building that strong foundation in order to make those pivots easier?
I'm glad that you asked. So one of the programs that we have implemented is called the Financial Capacity Program. And if you've been in this space as an entrepreneur, even tried it if you just had a gig on the side, financially, you fail first. Most often, it's not because you don't have resources. It's how you utilize them and truly understanding them. Most small businesses believe that they can look at their bank account and understand how healthy their business is. That is a fallacy. That is a lie. Your bank account does not give you a clear indication of how healthy your business is. And so we have implemented the Financial Capacity Program. Most small businesses and many mid-sized businesses don't have a CFO. They may have a bookkeeper, they may have an accountant, but not a CFO. A CFO is not going to count your money. A CFO is going to partner and strategize with you to help you understand where you are financially and strategically how you can sustain and grow. And those are some tough and hard conversations, especially when you're working hard. And one of the things, I use this as an example oftentimes. Landscaping business is big in Utah. And so if you have 3 trucks on the road and you have 9 employees, you have 3 employees per truck, and each of those trucks are fulfilling contracts. And one of the trucks breaks down. And you have looked at your finances, you've looked at your bank account, and you can afford payroll, you can afford the equipment, you can afford gas, but you don't have $26,000 to put that truck back on the road. And if you don't put it on the road, the revenue you thought you had coming in is now jeopardized. Now, you can't pay payroll if you repair that truck. Those types of incidents put small businesses out of business. A CFO can help you prepare for that and plan for that and be healthy. And so this whole financial capacity program is not to teach an entrepreneur how to be an accountant, but is to help them understand their business in a way that they can maintain their financial health and grow and sustain and be successful and really be vital to the economic ecosystem. I learned something earlier this year. It's kind of insulting to an entrepreneur. How many of you all participated in the Black Wealth Conference? So we had a Dr. Lael Alexander who came to speak to us. Dr. Lael Alexander is an inventor, if you will. Dr. Lael holds hundreds of patents, but one of the patents he holds is to Wi-Fi. One of the patents he holds is casting your phone to the television. Black man, brilliant. But one of the things he shared with a room full of entrepreneurs, he said, I'm not an entrepreneur and I don't want to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs work for me. It's like, wow. He said, I'm truly a capitalist. I create opportunities. And I began to ponder. When you look at your business, do you look at your business from a standpoint that you are not just delivering a product, but that you are creating opportunities? Bill Gates didn't think he was creating opportunities in that garage as a young man. But look at the legacy. And so just that shift in thinking, because most often financially we think, well, if I hire someone to do that, then that's less money for me. I call it addition by subtraction that ends up being multiplication. You add to your capacity. It may subtract money for some time, but it ends up multiplying because you have replicated yourself to do the operations, to do the work, and now you're focusing on growing the business. No one knows it like you. And so that's where your best time is spent. And so we're going to grow there. We're absolutely going to grow there. We'll be having conversations around franchising and what that looks like and what a healthy model around franchising looks like.
Staying on the topic of programs within the chamber, what other programs are available for members to partake in, or ones that you're extremely proud of that you want to highlight here tonight?
So one of the things we pride ourselves on is being a great partner and a conduit to resources. So we don't try to replicate good programs that exist. Financial capacity was a priority because we saw how our businesses were really challenged, and we went out and raised the dollars so that 10 to 12 businesses could have a CFO for 6 months, right? That is an invaluable investment, I believe, for the economic ecosystem of Utah. So we are not a program churner, if you will. One of the things that I'm very proud of that you all will begin to see that we're making the announcement like right now is that the Utah Black Chamber is standing up a small business advisory committee with representatives from around the state of Utah. And so we are really excited about that work, what that will look like, creating space and additional capacity to hear from and really serve our small businesses, because not just in Utah, but across America, small businesses is what makes communities work. And so part of that is ensuring that two things happen. We not only hear their voices, but we implement strategies that will ensure that they're successful. But then we create a reciprocal business community where we support each other. Did we hear that part? Where we support each other. Let me get political for 1 second. The next 4 years will be great for us if we support us. We have endured and survived worse. If we manage our resources and we support each other, I know where to get butter. I know where to get collard greens. I know where my banker is. I may have to drive a little further. But if I'm intentional in doing that, man, we're going to get to the other side of the 4 years and folks are going to be looking like, how they still here? Why? We can do that well. Y'all ready for me to stop talking?
No, I want to bring it back full circle.
Okay, bring it back.
What you just said.
Take that, rewind it back.
Exactly.
It's not too early anymore?
Not too early. It's time.
I want to bring the conversation full circle. You talked about setting intentions. We're in a new year. What is the call to action for the chamber and the chamber's members as we head into 2025?
That full circle moment is really built into a support system for the economic ecosystem. There really is no reason why we're not doing business with each other better than what we are doing. We have to make that commitment. There is no reason for us to know that there is a member that can provide these things and we go elsewhere. There is no reason. My Christmas list was from the chamber. Did anyone see our virtual marketplace on the chamber website? Don't raise your hand. And did you shop on it? There were some great things there. We have to be intentional. It's still there just in case, and you don't have to just Christmas shop. You don't have to just Christmas shop. And it was really our pilot just to see how much we needed to invest in building a virtual marketplace. And it's not a marketplace where you're going to go and see business cards and that type. No, it's stuff there. It's the businesses that are there, and you can click on their sites and go to their sites and shop with them. But that's the full circle. We should be a supportive system in this economic ecosystem. We're not driving people somewhere else. We are bringing people in to ensure that we are all successful, and what this looks like in 4 years, what this looks like in 40 years, because in 40 years, it's a legacy, right? 40 years, it's a legacy with several pivots in between, which are painfully necessary. How many money people do we have in the room? People with banks. No. People with banking institutions, financial institutions. Raise your hands. Raise your hands high. If you're in this room and you need money and you have not talked to these people and you just ate and had a drink, shame on you. How many of you are business consultants and helping people drive and build their business? How many in the room? If you do not meet and talk to these people, and you just ate and had a drink, shame on you. We're in the room. Wrap it up.
That's my cue.
Because I got to dance. Thank you all. This vision coming to life. Thank you, Nikki Walker. I'm excited about other members being in this chair throughout the year to talk about what's important for our businesses, for our communities, for us to be successful. But one of the things, and I don't know what month it's going to be, and I'm going to put them on the spot, but Nikki Walker, I want you in this seat talking to these young men, because we need to hear from you. You all have built a successful platform, a very successful platform, and we don't hear from you. And I want to sit out there and I want to hear from you. One of the things I talk about often, leaders must listen and learn. And I know that we are all individuals who are looking to grow. And what you all have built and how it's sustaining and how it's growing, and I'm honored that you all would invest your time and allow us to be on your platform in this manner for 2025. I can't wait to see where it goes, where it grows, but we got to switch these seats, Nikki Walker.
Thank you so much for the kind words. I did want to ask one thing before we go, because I think it's very, very important. For anyone that is a corporate representative, whether they're in the building tonight, whether they're at home watching this or see this later, how can they get involved with the chamber to support, to become partners, to just help move what you guys are doing forward?
So this is what I do, and I'm going to do a test. I give out my phone number. How many people in the room have my phone number? Call me. 225-620-4379. Now, the real question is, do I answer? Do I respond?
Yes.
Now, please know, I'm not doing all the work. I'm going to answer, and I'm going to point you in the direction that you need to go. But just know that we are here for you. We're not running. We're not avoiding. We want to hear what it is. We want to understand how, and not help, but how we promote, how we support, how we push, and how we all thrive.
Take us out, Mike.
Incredible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you coming out tonight for the first installment of the Young OG Perspective with the Utah Black Chamber. So we really encourage you to network for the rest of the evening. Make sure you do more than have a bite to eat and a drink, as we all have learned in these last few minutes. That being said, we want to thank you for coming out to an episode of the Young OG Perspective, where we what?
Give you a new perspective.
A fresh perspective.
A young OG perspective, baby.
Yup. Be smooth. Let's get it.